everyone, how are we doing? And welcome to another video inside the studio. You can see that things have come along nicely. All of this RGB lighting in here makes it look so much better than it did before. Even the cheapy IKEA like 50p £1 globe thing. But today I want to talk to you about all of these PC parts that actually come into the studio. So as you guys almost certainly know by now, I put loads of different PC builds together on this channel. This is the one that's inside the Abcon Core case. So this was the price performance build that I did last week. You can find the full sort of video behind this. It's a really cool one actually in the eye in the top right hand corner of your screen. It's around about £50 and yet you've got RGB lighting down both sides. But the question is, what happens to things like this when I'm done? Basically things like cases I can keep and reuse, but because I don't want to really do the same thing twice, I tend to get rid of the cases, but then I keep all of the components that are actually inside there, so things like the fans, the graphics cards. Sometimes they have to go back to the manufacturers, and then the rest of the time they end up in this big pile of death here, which at the moment is not a very good system. So today is the day that I'm going to get organized, and this huge gap that you now see behind me, I've cleared the way. There's still like a couple of monitor boxes and things here that I need to sort out. But in this particular space here, we've actually got a load of these nice, well I say nice looking, they're decent looking shelves from Amazon Basics. You know Amazon Basics, they pretty much sell everything. So let's move these PCs to the disassembly pile and then start actually putting these shelves together and filling this lovely gap with some awesome shelving. These were pretty good prices actually. I think it was around about £50. Just throw everything on the floor, as is my usual style. I'll tell you what actually, I am very pleasantly surprised. This is pretty sturdy. It says it can take a lot of weight, and looking at it in the pictures I thought it was going to be pretty flimsy, but this is actually pretty strong. I'm quite happy with that actually. Okay, this is actually fairly simple enough really. It's just like a sliding mechanism. Basically you get the shelves, you plop them down, and then you have these little connectory things that you slot on where you want the shelves, so they're fully adjustable. But working that out, I don't know, took longer than it should, I'm ashamed to say. This is the problem you see with YouTube videos. We make things look very easy because we don't have much time. We need to keep you guys engaged. It's all about audience retention. But in actual fact, we spend most of our life just doing things wrong, keep going, and making it look as pretty as possible. That's the secret. Fast forward a few hours then, and this room has completely transformed. I decided that showing you putting together shelves for around about an hour and a half probably wasn't that interesting, so we've cut all of that. But the thing that does concern me ever so slightly at the moment is that I've put just a few boxes on the shelves, and you can see it's already starting to fill up. Whereas if we come over here, you can see there's actually still quite a lot left. It's crazy though, just how much more space this actually adds to the room, because before I couldn't open this door all of the way because there was so much stuff behind it. And it's just great to have it fully organized. And as you can see, the storage now goes from all the way down the bottom up to the top. And there is a sort of method, if you like, to the madness here. We're gonna have motherboards, cases down the bottom that will be either built or not built. So at the moment, this one is ready for disassembly. Then we're gonna have like a power supply section. We've got RGB fans. We've got ATX stuff, coolers, peripherals, and then at the top, the really big stuff. But let's start the process of actually getting all of these boxes, bringing them over to this magical shelf and lining them up. We can actually use the standing desk look to raise up the camera and make this look a really nice shot of absolutely nothing. It does make you realize though just how much stuff is required for doing any sort of channel, I guess, like this. I mean, if you think most people, they buy parts in for a build and then that lasts them around about 3 or 4 years. I mean, I'm well accustomed to that. I was doing it for so long. Whereas because I only tend to have one rig that I use for such a long period of time, which is my personal one, and then all of the others, it's such a process to build them and then take them apart again. I don't know, maybe I just get used to having all of these parts come in. It's very, very cool, and I do feel very privileged. I have to show you this though, I really do, because this is something that blows my mind every time I see it. This is the graphics card section. I also love how the cheaper products always have a much smaller box, and this has actually got a graphics card in it, and it weighs about the same as one of the big empty boxes. It's ridiculous. I definitely do love the cheaper GPUs though. We'll be doing quite a few budget builds with these bad boys and B550 very soon. Don't you worry about that. Air coolers can live together. Some of these things I don't even remember receiving. When did I get a H115i RGB Pro XT iQ? Corsair with their catchy names as always. We are getting there. It's happening quite slowly. It's definitely a game of tessellation. That's right, I went there. PC gaming settings menu expert, Marcus Cole, PC Centric. I probably should do this in order, shouldn't I? Strongest at the end, weakest on the left. Oh my word! And this was not an empty box either. This was a 5700 XT ready for a build later this week. God, that was close. Okay then, so this looks pretty good to me. I believe this is that whole pile completely emptied, and you can now see we have our finished shelves. There's a few more things. Everything's not in this studio. Some stuff is in the old one. We've got some power supplies and things in drawers. We actually have our liquid cooling stuff all nicely organized. Look in this drawer here. But I think it's pretty exciting actually, and it's great to actually finally have the sort of YouTube setup, I guess, that I've been wanting for ages. And again, to reiterate, a lot of these things are just going to have to go back. I don't get to keep them all, but the things that do get to hang around here for a while and things that do get to stay, I'm so appreciative of. Oh, the whole second half of this video, I've not hid this this mic cable. This is very unprofessional. Oh, he's getting his pants out in the video. lttstore.com. So then, more stuff to actually add into this studio. We've got 3 boxes we're going to be doing today. And my personal favourite, and I say this as a joke, and I'll be honest, when I was offered this product, I pretty much said, I have no idea how I'm going to use it. I think it's quite ridiculous. You feel free to send it out, but I don't know what I'm going to use it for. Because it is an RGB HDMI cable. I can't think of any occasion where I've ever wanted to see the cable for my monitor or my TV. And even with RGB, I'm still not convinced that you're going to want to see it. But maybe if you're in the sort of place where you have no choice and you must see this cable, then getting an RGB one makes sense. So here we have our Microsoft Surface Power Brick. And in theory, when I plug this into the USB, we should get, yes, a light up HDMI cable. It's not bright, but I mean, the majority of the cable is still very much a cable. You'd have to position it in exactly the right way. I'm not convinced, but I'm sure there is someone watching that can't wait to find this product. If they do sell it on Amazon, I will link it down below. It says it's got Razer Chroma. Razer Chroma RGB HDMI cable. What on earth has happened to PC gaming? You're probably thinking, Marcus, how can you improve upon that RGB HDMI cable? I honestly have no idea. Well, we have 2 other more expensive items to test. The first one is this ominous black package, and then this other one is actually my new laptop. This is a Dell XPS 13 that was sent out by Dell. Spoiler alert, I do actually know what's inside this package, and it's pretty cool. I just can't get it open. So this is the Asus Zen Wi-Fi AX, and as the AX suggests, this is AX Wi-Fi, and I'm really excited to... I always drop things. But the thing that actually makes this kit quite exciting is firstly that it is mesh. So you have 2 different routers, or I suppose you have one router and then one slave sort of repeater, and they work in tandem, which means that if you have a larger house or you have a lot of dead spots and black spots, then they talk to each other and you get full speed Wi-Fi all around the house. With Wi-Fi 6, I can whack this down in the cupboard downstairs, have this on my desk, and then the 2 will talk to each other, and I'll get much faster internet, as this will basically act as a wired network, even though it's not. So thank you Asus for sending this one out, much appreciated. I will be updating you guys in the vlog as we go on over time. But this is also just as exciting, if not slightly more exciting. I was traveling quite a lot before the whole lockdown situation, and it was, well, I was always after something that was very thin and light, but something that could still edit videos. And I was using a Surface Book, which is great, and I still love it, but it's aging a little bit. So when Dell actually wanted to send me something out, I was really happy and jumped at the opportunity. The packaging experience is very nice. It's very Apple-esque. It says XPS at the top. And wow, look at the finish on that. This is like a silver gray. It's so thin and light. Oh, okay. Okay, I see why people like these now. We're ready for some more, what is it, ASMR. I don't use that word very often when it comes to the packaging experience. Oh, that's not very nice at all. Right, we've made it to the desktop, and the display on this thing is pretty awesome. It's a matte finish, yet it doesn't have any of that horrible like moire, I guess, that you get on some machines, which is nice. Welcome Marcus, it already knows way too much information about me. In terms of specifications, it's not the most powerful machine in the world, but for something that's this thin and light, it's really not too shabby at all. It runs with an Intel quad-core processor. I just saw it clocking up to around about 3.5 gigahertz, 16 gigabytes of memory in this. It's pretty much aimed at your ultimate thin, light, travel, companion type jobby really. So you can put this in your bag, super thin and light, USB-C, you can use the charger to charge your phone, write all of your articles, do your emails, watch high quality video on this thing. It's a winner, and I'm looking forward to bringing you a review of this shortly. This has been the video, anyway, inside this studio, the now updated background that I'll be using for some videos. If you do want to see more videos just like this, then hit that like button, get subscribed, it helps out so much you honestly wouldn't believe. Let me know what you think about this studio. Do you think having a new backdrop is great? Do you prefer the old one, like the new one, or like I'm guessing trying to do, sort of alternate the two to keep things as fresh as possible? If you do want to see more builds, there are loads of them coming up, but if you haven't checked out my most recent one in the Abcon core case, I highly urge you to do so. It was actually really cool. I'll leave that linked in the end screen. But thank you for your time, I appreciate it as always, and I'll see you in the next one.